Stop scrolling. What you're about to hear will either confirm something you've secretly known for years or shatter a comfortable lie you've been living inside. Most people never hear this. Not because it's hidden, because they're not ready. You might be. Paramahansa Yogananda spent 50 years studying why some people transform completely and why most people just rearrange. He found a pattern. 7 distinct levels of consciousness evolution. And here's what's terrifying. Most people who consider themselves spiritual or self-aware are stuck at level 2 or 3 and have been for years completely convinced they're moving forward. Today, I'm going to show you the entire map, where you actually are, what's keeping you stuck, and what comes next if you have the courage to go there. Don't skip ahead. Every level builds on what came before. And if you skip, you'll know, because life will send you back. Let's begin. Level 1, the awakening. Not a gentle, peaceful awakening. A shattering one. Something in your life stops working. Not the circumstances, the meaning. You achieve what you were told would make you happy. And it doesn't. Or worse, you get everything: career, relationship, money, status, and feel more hollow than before you had any of it. Yogananda called this divine discontent. And he said it's the most important spiritual experience most people will ever have. Here's why. Your ego has been running your life on autopilot. Achieve, accumulate, impress, secure. And you believed that script until the script stopped delivering. Now there's a crack in the wall. And through that crack, light is coming in. But it doesn't feel like light. It feels like collapse. Most people at level 1 make a critical mistake. They assume something external is wrong. Wrong job, wrong partner, wrong city. So they make horizontal moves, changing their circumstances while keeping the same consciousness intact. They rearrange the furniture in a burning house. The soul upgrade begins the moment you stop asking, "What do I need to change in my life?" and start asking, "Who have I been mistakenly believing I am?" You've been living from a false self, a constructed identity built from other people's expectations, past conditioning, and fears you never examined. And no amount of optimization, hustle, or therapy will fix a case of mistaken identity. Level 1 signs you'll recognize. A restlessness that won't resolve no matter what you try. Questions that keep surfacing at inconvenient moments. A feeling that time is running out for something you can't name. Growing numbness toward things that used to feel important. This is not a crisis. This is an invitation. Don't medicate it. Don't distract from it. Don't fix it prematurely. Feel it fully. The demolition is the beginning of reconstruction. Level 2, the search. Once the crack appears, you go looking for what's on the other side. You read the books, watch the videos, attend the workshops, try meditation, therapy, breathwork, plant medicine, energy healing. You become a voracious seeker. Yogananda called this the divine thirst and said it's more valuable than most spiritual experiences because it's the fuel that powers transformation. But level 2 has a trap, and it catches most people for years. Spiritual consumption without integration. You read 50 books and apply nothing. You learn 10 meditation techniques and practice none consistently. You collect teachings like trophies while never letting them actually change you. This is what Yogananda called spiritual materialism, using spirituality to enhance the ego instead of dissolve it. The ego loves level 2. Because at level 2, you can always say, maybe the answer is in the next teaching. You stay perpetually curious and perpetually uncommitted. A spiritual tourist, sampling everything, mastering nothing. Here's the uncomfortable truth. You're not seeking transformation. You're seeking the feeling of seeking. The ego wants to feel more evolved while remaining fundamentally unchanged. The exit from level 2 isn't finding the right teaching. It's choosing one and going all in. One path, one teacher, one core practice. Minimum 1 full year before you even evaluate whether it's working. That commitment terrifies the ego because it kills optionality. And the ego needs optionality to stay safe. But without that commitment, you stay at level 2 forever, endlessly circling the same insights in different language, mistaking familiarity for progress. Level 2 signs. Your spiritual knowledge vastly exceeds your spiritual practice. You keep starting new things before finishing old ones. You feel like you know a lot but have realized very little. You're still searching for the teaching that will finally click. The teaching you need already found you. The question is whether you'll actually do it. Level 3, the practice. This is where the romance dies. You've committed. You're showing up daily. You're meditating when you don't feel like it. You're applying the teachings to your relationships, your triggers, your dark moments. And it feels like nothing is happening. That's level 3. Yogananda said this is where more actual spiritual growth happens than any other level, and where more people quit than any other level. Because level 3 destroys every illusion you had about what transformation looks like. There are no dramatic breakthroughs, no golden light, no moment where you suddenly become calm and wise. Just the grinding, unglamorous work of showing up. Every day. Here's what's actually happening beneath the surface. Each time you choose the conscious response over the automatic reaction, you weaken an old neural pathway and strengthen a new one. Each time you don't react from fear. Each time you don't say the thing. Each time you breathe and feel instead of run and numb. You are literally rewiring your nervous system through repetition. But the lag between effort and result is brutal. You meditate for months and feel more anxious than when you started. You apply spiritual principles and your relationships still implode. You practice presence and spend most of the day lost in thought. Yogananda called this the dark middle of transformation. You're worse than before you started, more aware of your unconsciousness, more frustrated by your reactivity, but not yet consistently better. This is precisely the point where most people leave. They tell themselves, this practice isn't working for me. What they mean is, I expected this to be easier. Yogananda said, this is where spiritual warriors are forged. Anyone can practice when they feel results. The test is whether you'll practice when you feel nothing, when meditation seems pointless, when your ego is screaming, go back to the old ways. Those who stay through the dark middle emerge transformed. Those who quit return to level 2, searching for the practice that won't require this difficult passage. That practice doesn't exist. Level 3 signs. Your practice is consistent, but your results feel inconsistent. You're more aware of your dysfunction than ever, which feels like regression. You sometimes wonder if this is all pointless. But something keeps you practicing anyway, despite everything. Level 4. The purification. Just when level 3 practice has given you enough stability that you think, I've got this, everything falls apart. Not metaphorically. Actually. Relationships that seemed stable implode. Careers end. Health crashes. Or the collapse is internal. Depression that meditation can't touch. rage or grief surfacing with overwhelming force. A darkness that makes all your spiritual work feel like a complete lie. This is level 4. Yogananda called it the refiner's fire, and he said it's the universe's way of ensuring transformation is complete, not cosmetic. Your shadow erupts. All the parts of yourself you've been spiritually bypassing, the anger you've been calling boundaries, the fear you've been calling discernment, the control you've been calling discipline, suddenly demand to be seen. You thought you were becoming more conscious. Instead, you're becoming more aware of how unconscious you still are, in ways you successfully hid from yourself. The temptation at level 4 is to believe you're regressing, that something has gone wrong, that your practice has failed you. But Yogananda taught, this is proof your practice is working. You are now conscious enough that the unconscious material can no longer hide. The wound that's been infected for decades is finally surfacing to be cleaned. And cleaning always hurts more than letting it fester. Level 4 also strips away the most dangerous thing you've built, your spiritual identity. I'm a meditator. I'm conscious. I'm evolved. That's just another ego construction, a more sophisticated one. And it has to burn too. Because as long as you can maintain a spiritual self-image, you haven't dissolved the self. You've just upgraded it. The way through level 4 is not more doing. It's radical honesty and complete surrender. Stop defending your progress. Let the fire burn everything that isn't real. Trust that whatever is true cannot be destroyed. This usually requires help, a skilled teacher, a therapist, a community that will hold you accountable and tell you what you can't see. Level 4 signs. Your life is falling apart and your spiritual practice isn't stopping it. Your shadow is more visible than ever and deeply humbling. You're questioning whether any of your spiritual work was real. You feel like you're going backward. And yet, beneath the chaos, there is strange stillness, a part of you watching it all with a peace that doesn't make sense. That peace is real. Trust it. Level 5. The integration. If you survive the fire, and not everyone does, you emerge as someone fundamentally different. Not better, different. In the way a caterpillar is different from a butterfly. Not an improved caterpillar, but a completely different form of life. Yogananda called this the second birth. You are born as your true self, which operates from completely different motivations, values, and perceptions than the ego self you spent decades building. The most striking shift, the dissolution of the separate self. Not conceptually, you've probably understood non-duality intellectually for years. This is experiential. You look for the you that has problems, the you that needs improvement, the you on a spiritual path, and you can't find it. Experience is happening. Thoughts are arising. Actions are occurring. But there's no central someone to whom it's all happening. This is profoundly disorienting and profoundly liberating at the same time. Disorienting because your entire life was organized around being someone, having a story, protecting and enhancing that character. Liberating because without that character to defend, there's no one to offend, no one to impress, no one who can fail. At level 5, you begin living from essence rather than personality. Personality is the learned self, the conditioned responses, the masks, the strategies. Essence is what you are before all of that. From essence, action becomes spontaneous and appropriate rather than calculated and self-protective. You respond to what's actually happening rather than reacting from fear or desire. Relationships transform. You stop needing people to validate an identity. because you no longer have a fixed identity that needs validation. This creates genuine intimacy. You can be fully present without agenda, without trying to get something or avoid something. Paradoxically, you become more effective in the world, not less. Without the constant energy drain of ego management, vast resources open up for actual contribution. But level 5 also brings a new challenge. Living among people who still operate from ego consciousness, who expect you to play the same game, get defensive the same way, compete the same way. When you stop playing, it confuses them, sometimes threatens them. Old relationships reorganize or fall away. New ones, with a depth and authenticity you couldn't access before, begin to appear. Level 5 signs. You can't find the you who was supposedly on a spiritual path. Your motivations have fundamentally shifted from getting to giving. Success and failure don't hit the way they used to. Relationships are simpler but deeper. There's a sense of being lived by life rather than living it. Level 6. The embodiment. Level 5 has fluctuation. You experience egoless consciousness and then fall back into identification. You see through the illusion and then get caught in it again. Level 6 is when the new consciousness stabilizes permanently. Yogananda called this Sahaja Samadhi, the natural state that no longer requires effort to maintain. You've crossed a threshold that cannot be uncrossed. The ego can still arise as a functional tool. You still have a name, a role, preferences. But you're never again fully identified with any of it. It's like an actor who knows they're playing a character, fully engaged in the role without forgetting it's a role. The confusion between actor and character is permanently resolved. Presence is no longer a practice. It's your default state. Unconsciousness becomes the exception. Suffering, not pain, but suffering, which is resistance to pain, mostly dissolves. Pain arises, you feel it fully, it moves through. No story forms around it. No, why is this happening to me? Just direct experience. And something remarkable begins to happen around you. Your presence alone starts affecting others. People feel calmer near you, clearer, more connected to themselves, without you saying or doing anything in particular. This isn't something you're doing. It's what happens when a strongly coherent field of consciousness enters a space with less coherent fields. Resonance and entrainment occur naturally. But even level 6 reveals one final recognition. There's still a subtle observer, still a thin awareness of being someone who is awake. The thinnest veil, but absolutely real. That recognition creates the opening for level 7. Level 6 signs. Presence is effortless and automatic. The separate self sense rarely or never arises. Suffering has mostly dissolved even though pain still occurs. You affect others. Consciousness just by being near them. Life flows with unusual synchronicity, and you sense one final veil, gossamer thin, but real. Level 7. The dissolution. This is not an upgrade. It is the recognition that there was never anyone to upgrade. All 7 levels were a progressive dismantling of the illusion that you are a separate entity on a path to somewhere. The path itself was the final illusion, the most subtle remaining form of ego, the spiritual seeker. Yogananda rarely spoke about this publicly. In private teachings to advanced students, he called it moksha, complete liberation. Nirvikalpa samadhi, absorption in formless consciousness. Or simply, the truth beyond all truths. At level 7, every spiritual concept that guided the journey collapses. There is no soul upgrading because there is no soul separate from the totality. There is no consciousness evolving because consciousness was always complete. There is no one becoming enlightened because the one who would become enlightened was the last obstacle to recognizing what already is. This is not nihilism. Reality is not nothing. Reality is not made of separate things, including a separate you. You are not a wave trying to reach the ocean. You are the ocean, temporarily appearing as a wave, and now recognizing your true nature. From this recognition, everything changes and nothing changes. The body still functions. Thoughts still arise. Emotions still move. But it's all known to be appearances within consciousness, not separate entities. Yogananda taught that at level 7, even the desire for enlightenment dissolves because consciousness is recognized as already free. Always was, always will be. The search ends, not because you found what you were looking for, but because you realized the searcher was the obstacle, and the searcher has dissolved. What remains is what Yogananda called being as such. Pure existence without the need to be anyone or become anything. This level cannot be practiced for, achieved, or earned. Your responsibility is only to be utterly sincere at whatever level you currently find yourself. The dissolution happens through grace, not through effort. Though years of sincere effort may create the conditions where grace can operate. So, where are you? Most people watching this are somewhere between levels 2 and 4. That's not a judgment. That's just where most sincere seekers find themselves. The question is not, how fast can I get to level 7? The question is, am I being completely honest and committed at the level I'm actually at? Because Yogananda emphasized this again and again, you cannot skip levels. You cannot fake your way through. Each level must be fully lived, fully experienced, fully integrated before the next level becomes possible. Trying to jump ahead keeps you exactly where you are, pretending to be somewhere you're not. If you're at level 1, stop fixing your life. Start questioning who you think you are. If you're at level 2, stop consuming. Start practicing. Choose one path, commit completely, give it one full year. If you're at level 3, keep showing up. You're in the dark middle. The breakthrough comes to those who don't stop. If you're at level 4, surrender. Let it burn. Get help. Trust that whatever is real will survive the fire. If you're at level 5, stop performing. Live from essence. Let relationships reorganize around who you actually are. If you're at level 6, your presence is the practice. Simply be. If you're at level 7, there is no practice. There is no practitioner. There is only this exactly as it is. The soul upgrade is not a race. It's a deepening. You could spend an entire lifetime at level 3 with complete sincerity, and it would not be wasted. Better to be genuinely at level 3 than to be pretending to be at level 6. No sincere effort on this path is ever wasted. Every moment of real presence, every genuine choice for consciousness over comfort is rewiring your being at levels you cannot perceive. The upgrade is happening whether you feel it or not. Now you have the map. The only question left is whether you'll walk the path or just save this video.